Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Gold Mason back for another SBL week. We're finishing it up here with week 8. I am hungry. Despite having just had a tie wrap, I'm hungry for some ADV gaming. So let's hop right into it. We got Mako versus Pak. Good matchup for Mako. Here comes the Moltres. Sometimes on Skarmory teams, you like to go to Moltres, let Moltres die instead of the Skarmory. If it's like an explosion Metagross, like a Houdini Metagross at the lead, but it is not. There's a Magneton, down the Skarm goes, and Moltres will be a good switch in here against the two Steel types. Possibly a, I was about to say Blissey, or a Suicune will come in, but it's Blissey this time. And this is pretty standard lines from both so far. Here's the Celebi taking a Thunder Wave. Best move in the game. Good click from Mako. Leech Seed on the Claydol coming in. So this is more of a fat balanced team, maybe even Virgin team. Well, Virgin's mostly Doug, so not quite. You do kind of have to be a Virgin to do Claydol Blissey though, so you know. Anyways, yeah, no. Celebi is not threatened by Claydol, so doesn't really need to switch. Moltres comes in on the Metagross coming in. That is a really nice swap from Pak. Blissey's going to take a Will-O-Wisp. Unlike Gengar, Moltres does not really get a way to force Blissey not to click that soft-boiled button. So here's Tar. Focus Punch. Claydol is probably a safe switch. Gyarados actually comes in. Makes sense on a Magneton team with the Metagross. Makes a lot of sense. And Mako gets the double wrong again. Moltres once again in on the Metagross. Of course, the Blissey always blanks progress here, so Tar is a safe double and catches it. So another Focus Punch surely will be going down into the Gyarados. Gyarados can't take too many of these. I mean, it's going to take 20% from each one, so without rest on Gyarados or something like that, this is not a long-term strategy for Mako. Swampert will come in, and Gyarados also blanks Swampert. A lot of stress being placed on this Gyarados. Oh, nice Earthquake. A nice Earthquake on the Tyranitar coming in. Get some big chip here. Rock Slide chips Claydol, but yeah, no, this is looking firmly in Mako's corner right now, just on matchup, unfortunately. Magdoll against Skarm progress is, yeah. The 1 weak link here is Gyarados keeps having to be the switch-in for so many things on Pak's team, and there is a Aerodactyl. Without HP Rock, Aerodactyl will win this, and Pak actually scouts for it. Really smart. Here's a Toxic from Metagross, and it also doesn't even take that much from the Earthquake. Very defensive pert, makes sense. Has to keep the whole core alive, but it is a refresh pert, so does not care about that Toxic at all. And now Mako chooses to beat down the Metagross. Really have to be careful about the Protect Explosion dynamic here. And nope, Mako doesn't go for the explosion or anything. Pak, Balls of Steel, just clicks Hydro Pump. The Gyarados is very low now. But it is rest. Alright, so that changes things just a bit. Gyarados is going to be totally fine. Mako probably, yeah, I was about to say plays around the... Interesting. I was going to say plays around the Arrow double, but... Here's Snorlax. This is going to be a Bolt Celebi, almost certainly. So it's going to click Leech Seed here, get a lot of its health back, and blank this Snorlax. Oh, maybe not. 53% is quite a lot. Might still be recover though, so shouldn't be too worried. It is. But that means that the Celebi is almost certainly blanked by the Metagross. And Mako realizes that, and Pock just stays in, clicks Leech Seed. Gets some more chip on the Metagross. Metagross going down would be huge for Pock. Mako's really trying to position here, chip pieces, but... Here's aromatherapy. I forget what was... Oh, it's the rest on Gyarados is cleansed. Very nice. And so Gyarados gets to come back in here for free. This might end up being a long one, actually. There's a lot of, like, positional switching you can do. And I feel like both battlers are going to do that. Nice stay from Mako. Seismic Toss on the Earthquake. God, yeah. Does nothing. That does nothing. Was it revealed Protect? No, it's Refresh. So it's a Refresh 3 attack set. Interesting, interesting. Here's the Leech Seed. Missing. And the best move in the game clicked once again. Very nice. Very, very nice. Alright. I think we're going to see a lot of positional switching in this game. It might... Ooh, Hidden Power Fire revealed. Snorlax is not the switch-in I expect. Maybe it thinks that it can just curse up? I'm not sure. Tar is the biggest threat to Mako's team. One Dragon Dance would be devastating, but of course it's probably not Dragon Dance. It's probably a BKC Tar, as evidenced by the Focus Punch. Sorry, I have seen way too much of this DD Focus Punch from the Zoomers. Shout out Violet River. That I'm expecting it at this point. Alright. Moltres is faster than the Gyarados. That crit fire flamethrower. Really doing a number here. And now Claydol or Blissey has to be the switch in. Mako staying on the Hidden Power Bug. Pot clicks Substitute. It's a substitute Tyranitar. Gonna click Hidden Power Bug here now. Get big chip on the Claydol. Yeah, 74%. Big from the BKC Tar. Ooh, Explosion from the Claydol is actually very huge. Killing the Moltres. That honestly looked quite nice into most of Mako's team, especially if Blissey ever went down. Giga Drain on the rest turn. Celebi is faster, but... Ooh, nice. Big Tar. Very nice Tar. Thunder Wave clicked, but... Oh, well, of course. You know. Lose your Blissey if you don't get parried, and then you get parried, I don't think I need to say anything about that turn. You all know my opinion on this at this point. Here comes Swampert on the Meteor Mash. I think... I don't know. The Moltres sack might end up being a net negative for Pock. It's hard to get through Metagross and Magneton. You are also faster than the Gyarados. Assuming that the Snorlax is not rest, if you ever make it through the Blissey, you can also, Will-O-Wisp the Snorlax for extra insurance. I mean, there's a lot that Moltres could have done, but I don't know what you sacrifice instead. So maybe that is the correct line that Pock took. Let me know in the comments. I know Jumpy23 is going to let me know in the comments. Maybe not. I don't know if he actually watches my stuff. Alright. Blissey comes in on the Swampert. Excellent time for Blissey to get some damage in and heal up. Because the Swampert hits like wet tissue paper. On the plus side, Rock Slide is fairly free. Only does 42. Kind of crazy. This might be like a bold Blissey. Because I fully expect this to be max attack Tar. I mean, it did 74% to Claydol with Hidden Power Bug. Like, I fully expect it to be max attack tar. 20% looks right too for max attack tar, focus punch -1 into Gyarados. I think this might just be bold Blissey and that my head calcs are off, or maybe it's not. I don't know. Swampert comes in on the Meteor Mash. Yeah, I figured this might take a little while. Eventually, I think Arrow gets to make progress and might be able to make something happen. The real problem is getting Arrow in. Nothing is really safe to get the Aerodactyl in to make some progress. Here is Leech Seed on the Thunder Wave turn. I think we're going to see a couple more of those. Tyranitar. This is nice. This gets Tyranitar a lot of its health back, especially as a Subtar. That's going to be very, very helpful. And you know, all right, well, that's a full paralysis. What can you do? Hidden Power Fire on Celebi exists. Well, you can't lose the Metagross's Mako because there is still an Aerodactyl. And that seems like an easy way to lose to Aerodactyl is to lose your Metagross. That was a nice switch from Mako to the Metagross. On the Rock Slide, easy to predict Gyarados coming in. An Earthquake there would have been kind of amazing from... oh, here it is! Ice Beam. Freeze. Only way that it gets unfrozen is going to be this Blissey Aromatherapy, which I expect to happen now. Focus Punch. And actually Metagross comes in. Smart play from Mako. Alright, are we going to see the Metagross go down? Meteor Mash does not enough. Okay. Alright. Now, as Pac, you have to be thinking, do I double to the Tyranitar as the Blissey comes in? And Pac does not make that play. But, I mean, you can go Tyranitar now, and then it comes a bit of more of a, oh no. Blissey's back up to 84. Now it becomes a sticky situation, and Magneton is sacked off. Alright. Double full para. It's alright. Here's a substitute. I think we're gonna see a Focus Punch click into a full para. Holy moly. Alright, Magneton is finally sacked off. We're gonna see Metagross come in. If Mako kills the... Okay, well, it's not Earthquake. Got it. Alright. Focus Punch. That makes sense. It clicks Substitute, so it has to drop one of the BKCTR moves. Finally, some damage put on the Metagross. I think it's going to get it back, though. Yeah, Protect. What's the Blissey at? The Blissey's at 84. Okay, yeah, no problem. 2 Hydro Pumps left. Not that I find them particularly useful. Curse's Celebi comes in. Yeah, this positioning is good for Pac. I again think that the problem is that Arrow is not finding chances to come in. And the reason being that, again, it's just very hard to get Arrow in here. Hidden Power Fire. Well, cursing up. Snorlax is cursing up now. I mean, it is Leech Seed, so I feel like the impact is going to be lower. And actually, Arrow finds its way in now. If it clicks Explosion, no. Okay, no, it's Rest. This is scary now for Pac. You kind of need a critical hit. Even with Sand and Leech Seed, I mean, the Snorlax is going to be able to click a button or two. Not quite, actually. Double Edge is doing too much. And there's the crit. Alright. Metagross is in. Swampert. This Swampert has taken so many Meteor Mashes. This is a big dog, man. Look at this guy. He is so strong. Now the real question left is, can Pock make it through Blissey without letting the Metagross or the Gyarados run over the rest of his team? Blissey is the last major obstacle. Unfortunately, a lot of Pock's team lets Blissey get a lot of its health back, so that was nice. The aromatherapy to let Gyarados come out of the freeze, and kind of probably put it in a roll range on that Giga Drain. So, all right. Blissey can kind of sit on the Celebi. Where was the Tar at? I think you can go to Tar. Yeah, there it is. I guess I like the way the Pock did that, to do it on the soft boiled turn. Tar is now back to full. Gonna click Focus Punch. Oh my god. The Metagross is so close. Alright, Hidden Power Fire is going to force Metagross out, but it is going to protect again. Oh, no protect. The Celebi's... Oh, the Celebi's not faster. I thought the Celebi was faster. Oh, it's a speed tie. What? The Sand order and the Leftovers order says that it's a speed tie. A speed tie between Celebi and Gyarados. That's crazy. Mako does not take that speed tie, neither does Pock. Here is the Metagross getting back up to 32%. I think it did, the Focus Punch from Tar did 34 last time, so if it ever gets that again. Okay, it's speed tie again. Oh, Arrow makes it in. This is not good, actually. That's not a good good time for Pock. All right, Meteor Mash finally gets a raise. Earthquake. Okay, Metagross goes down. Hold on, this is still really winnable for Pock. Don't really care about the Swampert going down. You get to bring Tar in safely and click Rock Slide, and this might be the game. I think Pock might have this, barring some full para magic. All right, come on, don't do this to me. All right, there's the substitute. That actually does not save anything. It's entirely possible to still. All right, here's a Focus Punch. All right. Goodbye, Blissey. Last hope Gyarados has to make it through a Tar with a sub. Clicking Focus Punch. Okay, it happens. All right. Whew. All right. Pock takes that one home. Much needed win for the Ruiners. They are having a tough time. Really wanting to make it back into playoffs. They still have a path, but Pock brought home a much needed victory. Mako also potentially bringing a good victory home for her team. So much needed for both teams. So the next game is Ferdazi versus McMegan, but please check the description of the video. I have already commentated this match for the Smogon YouTube channel, so you can go check that video out in the description below. I am not going to cover it in this video because I only covered it by myself. I covered it by myself, so it would be disingenuous to pretend that I hadn't seen it before. So we are moving on to Karate 8 versus Endill. Let's get it going. We got Zapdos versus Tyranitar lead. Probably the most common lead matchup, at least in my experience. Which is crazy, because it's two different Pokemon. You think maybe like Tyranitar, but... Rock Slide is scouted for by the Protect. And Swampert's going to take it. Nice double back to Zapdos from Karante 8. But there is a Blissey. Already looking like a big 5 structure from Endill. Probably some sort of offensive structure from Karante 8. Offensive spikes. And there is a Skarmory to corroborate that claim. I think we're going to see some spikes go down. Possibly many. Endill goes for just the one spike. And Karante 8 goes to Starmie. Probably going to get that spike out of here. No, goes for a Thunder Wave instead. Potentially trying to catch the Skarmory, staying in, but I mean, it's very unlikely that it ever does. Blissey's going to go back to health, and yeah, this is an offensive spike structure from Karante 8 with a Def Me glue. Double water. And then I kind of expect Big 5. Big 5 is what I was trying to say. Big 5 from Endill. We are going to see Recover, Spam into Seismic Toss, and then T-Wave to break the cycle a little bit. That lets Karante 8 go to Celebi. This is a Leech Seed Celebi. Might be a bit annoying, but Skarmory's going to come in on that Leech Seed. Now we see whether it's Hidden Power Fire or not, and it looks like it might not be. With the Celebi switching out immediately. Endill has his own Starmie, so it might be like a beer lover structure from Endill with the Swampert and the Gengar last, or maybe a different strategy. Maybe like could be like triple Nat Cure. Could be a lot of things actually. Blissey's gonna come in on the Leech Seed, and I'm not really sure what to guess as the last for Karante 8. I expect a strong physical breaker, but we'll see. Starmie comes in on the spike. Just gonna get rid of that very quickly. Actually, just goes for a Surf first. Here's the spin now. Presumably Starmie is going to be forced out here. Yep. Leech Seed misses. That's nice for Endill. Oh boy. I forgot to turn off my alarms. It's very early in the morning. I've been up for a while. Alright. Starmie is paralyzed the Blissey. But pretty easy swap to opposing Starmie. This is potentially off me from... No, it's not. It's going to be Def Me. Here's the Recover. And I think we're in for a bit of a long one. I guess everybody this week decided to bring these fat balance structures with a lot of durable pieces. Which is honestly a strong archetype in ADV. I don't blame them for it. But it does mean that these games are going to go on for a while. So, yeah. Alright, Zapdos comes in on the switch to Skarmory. That's a pretty good switch from Karante 8. I mean, he's honestly maintaining the pressure pretty well. We'll see just how well he can keep up in this long game. A Toxic Miss is very unfortunate for that momentum. I mean, we had already seen Ice Beam from Blissey, so I don't think that Zapdos was going to be staying in very much, so Blissey could have honestly switched. It's not a big deal, but it does make the momentum game a little bit harder for Karante 8. And we're back to the Starmie versus Blissey interaction. The one cool thing about Def.Me and just Starmie in general is that over time, I'm pretty sure it can just stall Blissey out of everything. Only risk is Surf PP, but you can start spamming Rapid Spin, and that does the trick as well. So Blissey is not a completely effective Def.Me answer long term. I mean, it obviously does blanket for now, but yeah, 12 soft boileds left. I have a feeling that Blissey PP is going to be important to keep track of. Recover having 32 PP is crazy. It's a crazy move. Crazy move. Eventually, what I expect to happen is either a physical breaker is revealed from Coranti 8, which I greatly expect. Something like a Salamence, something like a... there's a lot of things. Or Endill starts making progress with his physical breaker in Tyranitar, or this Salamence that just showed up. Recover revealed from the Celebi. Leech Recover B, pretty strong. Hidden Power Grass as the Starmie comes in, that's nice. Salamence probably doesn't risk. Oh, it does. Okay, so I think Endill is saying that he is okay with his Salamence taking a Thunder Wave, which is quite interesting. Usually you don't really want your Salamence to take a Thunder Wave, but Endill is willing to trade his Salamence's status for the kill on Starmie, which, not knowing Endill's last, I mean, it still looks like a strong choice to make. And Coranti 8 needs to decide if he's taking that trade soon, because you keep recovering on Starmie and there's going to be, you know, crit chances. So Fire Blast is 45%, very tanky Celebi. The go to Skarmory is tough because it does kind of let, Zapdos or Starmie in. Endill click Drill Peck, I think expecting Starmie to come in, potentially to take it out. But he has let the momentum go back to Coranti 8 side just a bit. There's the Starmie coming in. Frozen! Oh no. That is unfortunate. I think that Coranti 8 will be switching now. Tyranitar comes in on the Zapdos. Yeah. Interesting game. This Mixman Spikes build from Endill. Pretty nice. Not the big five I expected originally, but what can you do? Alright, Starmie is back in now. Here's Tyranitar. Tyranitar's an interesting one. Is this like a Pursuit Tar? No, it had Rock Slide. Alright. Well, Skarmory takes a massive Focus Punch. I think we're going to see Rock Slide here as the switch to Swampert. Nope, Protect on the Focus Punch, yep. Coranti 8 not really willing to risk the Swampert, but here's another Focus Punch into Celebi. This looks like BKC Tar, so not really safe from Hidden Power Bug, but Endill goes for maybe an Overpredict, or Coranti 8 just made a ballsy stay, really. And the Celebi is back up to full. I'm surprised. I mean, maybe it's probably Choice Band. I can't believe it took me this long to figure that out. It did 70% to a Skarmory. It's Choice Band. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. It did 70% to a Skarmory. How did I not figure that out? My fault, folks. I cannot wait to be roasted in the comments for my horrific, not even seeing that there was no leftovers on the leech seed. Alright. Do your worst, comment section. But we've got a game to get back to. Here is Skarmory in on the Blissey. I mean, it's going to bait a Seismic Toss. Starmie comes back in. This exercise was purely to cleanse the Starmie of its Thunder Wave. And I think Blissey will be doing a similar thing here shortly. Here's the Tyranitar. We'll see what move is clicked. Rock Slide doing 23% to Swampert. Starmie's going to come back in on a Hydro. Takes nothing from it. Yeah, and one of the biggest things here is that these Starmies are really blocking the Skarmories from making progress, which both teams are not enjoying. Here's a Rapid Spin coming from Corante 8. Nice baiting that, not to get the Tar in. We're going to see what it clicks here. It clicks Hidden Power Bug. Does 27% to Swampert. Swampert's getting worn down, and a worn down Swampert does not check rock Pokemon. So the more Tyranitar comes in to deal with this, the more Corante 8's going to be in a tough spot. But the Swampert has stayed in for a couple turns now. Got some leftover chip healing. We will see. Here comes Zapdos on a Hidden Power Grass. This was Toxic, Protect, Thunderbolt, Zapdos, possibly with Rest last move. I would expect something like Hidden Power, and it is clicked. Alright. Notably, that means that any moves that hit Zapdos are going to be permanent damage without the help of Leech Seed from Celebi. Or maybe a Wish Pokemon in the back. This is really going to come down to whether Tar can come in and get turns. This Choice Band Tyranitar is looking incredibly strong. And Corante 8 has to be careful about it. Full para. If that was another Surf, then that was a little annoying. Here is the other physical breaker from Corante, Metagross, taking the Toxic and potentially forcing some damage here. Blissey is going to be gone too. That covers a Thunderbolt from Zapdos as well as a go to Skarmory. Endill's really trying to force damage on the Skarmory, and Blissey can do that. Big crit. As Leech Seed comes down, does mean that Celebi will be able to click Recovery here freely, so not as big as one would hope. But, oh, that's big. Oh, ho, ho, that's big. Big Toxic on the Zapdos. That means it's now on a timer. And as long as Blissey is around, it's always going to get blanked by Blissey. So now, yeah, down to 56%. I think that Zapdos can only come in a couple more times. So Corante 8 is going to have to rely on his other pieces more than the Zapdos. The Zapdos is notably very strong into all of Endill's Pokemon after the Blissey goes down. So the real question is now how he gets rid of the Blissey. Zapdos comes in. Again, Zapdos is now on a timer. So it's not going to be as pressuring towards the Starmie as Corante, I think, would like. Starmie's going to come in on the Spike again. I think we're going to see Starmie recover here. Nope, just goes for the Rapid Spin on... Oh, Spike again. This is a nice exercise for Corante 8 to get his Skarmory back up to full health. Goes to Celebi on a predicted Surf, probably. Still no recover from Endill. That Starmie does really need to get his health back up at some point. I'm scared of the last Pokemon from Karante 8 being some sort of setup sweeper, and you really want your Deathme healthy for that. We are back to Salamence and Starmie. I think that, yeah, without being at like 50-ish% like it was before, the Salamence trading status for Hidden Power Grass is not as effective. And the last Pokemon is Tyranitar. Clicks DD. I was about to say, might be a little preemptive. Weird switch from Endill there. I guess just going to Skyrim to click Roar on an Earthquake, but Tyranitar is back in. Gets a big meaty Rock Slide off on Skyrim. Double full para, very unfortunate, and after 119 turns, the first Pokemon dies. Thunderwave from Starmie, but I don't love that. Critical hit might have mattered, possibly did matter. Para could have been fished for, but Starmie goes down, and that's actually a huge hole in Karante 8's team. Spike of Steel. I'm surprised that that was clicked. Is he going to go for the third spike? He doesn't. Okay, Roar brings in the Zapdos, which is not what the Skarmory wanted to see. But this is looking quite good for Endill now. He still has his spinner. He still has a spinner, and he has 2 spikes down on the field against a bulky core that really does not want to be taking these spikes. Blissey gets para. Oh, Thunderbolt para full parad. That might be the way through this that Karante 8 was looking for. Not quite. This does notably let Tyranitar in. And as long as Thunderwave isn't clicked, we're going to see Tyranitar DD up. No, just an Earthquake. I don't love... Wow. Full para is the worst. Unfortunate. Here is the Salamence Intimidate. The Tar does not seem to be recovering with leftovers, which means that it is probably Lumberry, which is why Blissey didn't go for the Thunder Wave. And a nice switch to Celebi. Karante 8 has the wherewithal to know that, you know, he needs that attack boost to really put a dent in Metagross, and Tyranitar is his last real option to finish this game. Misread on the Skarmory here. I think it always goes for last spike, just to limit the Tyranitar's health, as well as punch holes in this pert. So there's no real reason for Endill to switch. He does not need Skarmory for anything, and Karante 8 is over-predicting here, I think. And now Celebi is going to be dangerously low. Another Leech Seed. I suppose that the Karante 8's strategy now is actually to let the Celebi go and have the Tyranitar in, but I mean, the Skarmory is just going to click Roar. So I don't know about letting your whole team go like this. 3 spikes on the field, and yeah, and you didn't even actually get Swampert out of here. I mean, there's a double protect. Don't know that that strategy is going to work out for Karante 8. I mean, again, the only way... Triple protect. The only way forward is a Dragon Dance Tyranitar sweep. Did Starmie ever recover? It did, so... Swampert is back up to near full after all of that Leech Seed and whatnot, so that part is nice. But kind of allowed this sequence. Oh wow, out of range. So Salamence goes down. Here is Starmie, which should finish the game. A couple surfs, and that'll be it. The Tyranitar will be at, oh yeah, 34%. It's not happening. And that will be the game here in 2 turns. Failed protect is the only... Protecting for a billion turns would be the only way that Quarantier makes it out of this. And I think that will be that. A pretty good game. Only a few small mistakes that I could have picked up on. But just really good play from Quarantier and Endill. Endill played fantastic. So, yeah, just a good game. A showcase of, you know, Choice Band Tyranitar's breaking power. It broke through that Skarmory like it was nothing. And some good plays, some good turns from Endill that really swung the momentum in his favor. So, good stuff. Up next, we have Blyarg, also known as Mayopockets, versus Baddummy. Scooters versus the Tigers. Both are fighting for a spot in playoffs, and so this is going to be a pretty important game for both of them. Here we go into it. We got Suicune versus Salamence. Salamence is not staying in. Here comes Starmie. That is expected from Baddummy. He really likes that Starmie, defensive Starmie especially, and there's the Thunder Wave. Tyranitar is going to come in to set some sand on another Calm Mind. Pretty good read from Baddummy, and he's going to immediately go out to something else, and it's Blissey. 33%, that's a modest Suicune or something of that sort. Baddummy has played against this kind of Suicune many times, because he likes to bring builds where people want to bring Suicune into him. Metagross is here. Here's a Magneton trying to catch a Skarmory coming in, but it does not. And instead it is going to leave as the Starmie understandably goes to Blissey. Here's Metagross on a Thunderbolt. Toxic Metagross. Interesting. Probably Protect, but I'm not sure I love that into Baddummy's Starmie spamming kind of team favorites, but it's possible that, well, it depends on what the set for this Blissey is. It clicked Thunderbolt already, so it might be Calm Mind itself. But the Suicune definitely looks threatening in the late game, depending on the Blissey set and the rest of Baddummy's team. Big critical hit, Meteor Mash. And there is the Skarmory that we were waiting for. Let's see if Mayo just goes straight to Magneton. Does. Catches the Skarm, but Skarmory is usually fine just getting one spike and going. Gonna get some momentum back here as something has to switch in on the Mence. Fire Blast. As Suicune comes in, so that's nice for Blyarg. Here's the Starmie again, and a rest to get rid of that annoying paralysis. Recover from Baddummy just to top off. Starmie is potentially going to be useful later, especially into like a Mence or something like that from Blyarg's side. Definitely looks like it could be a like a Snorlax Mence type of build. And Baddummy takes a little bit of damage on the Suicune in exchange for keeping the Starmie in and getting that full paralysis, or just paralysis really, and on the Suicune. Gets an extra full paralysis, and now Blissey's going to come in. And I think that the paralysis is important because Baddummy might be Calm Mind. So I think we're going to keep seeing Thunderbolts just to whittle away at this Metagross, but I feel like Baddummy's Blissey is Calm Mind. This team kind of needs it to be Calm Mind, in my opinion. And full paralysis on Suicune means that that Blissey will almost indubitably win the war against Suicune. We're going to see Tyranitar come in on a full para. Probably doesn't stay. It was trying to catch the sleep. Oh, it does, and it is... That looks like band damage to me. But Heracross is going to get maybe a Rock Slide off here. Yeah, on the Salamence. But the Intimidate mitigates that damage pretty heavily. It's actually a Zap Mag. my favorite structure. So now I'm definitely thinking like a Snorlax in the back. Just like a blue offense. Maybe a Salamence, but unlikely. And here's Metagross. Getting some... Well, no, not even some health back because it's... Yeah. I don't think that Mayo... Oh, Mayo does just let the Metagross get parried, but instead it just gets surfed, and it's going to be a little tough to ever use this Metagross again. It's only going to be useful for Blissey, and it's probably going to be held for it. I think we're going to see Fire Blast, and we do. Magneton goes down. Suicune is a little too low to take any damage, if I remember correctly. It could be Fire Blasted into Hidden Power Grassed and die. So it was not banned damage. It was just a Tyranitar. Zapdos goes down and it's Celebi lasts. Makes sense. Needed kind of a special wall. That's why I was thinking Snorlax. Celebi is going to take the Tar out, and I was about to say Metagross is going to come in and be quite annoying. Depending on what it clicks. Meteor Mash. Giga Drain potentially taking it out of Meteor Mash range. Not really, though. It did 52 the first time. But it is definitely out of Meteor Mash range if it misses. Is this Hidden Power Ice Celebi? I know that Super Epic Ampharos, the captain of the scooters, really likes that build. And it is certainly looking like it. The Celebi is clicking Giga Drain over and over again into the Metagross. Definitely letting the Heracross get an entry. Oh, Brick Break. That was unfortunate. Maybe a bit of a... I don't want to say an overread, because no matter what, Brick Break or Megahorn wouldn't have done great into Mence coming in, but yeah. And unfortunately, Metagross is used to Revenge, which means that it is also sacked off to the Mence. And Blissey is going to look tough here unless the Suicune can make some sort of thing happen. But 35% from the Hidden Power with no Calm Mind Up means that Blyarg is in a tough spot. 32% on the second one, though. That's a little bit better. It is not Sleep Talk Suicune, so it's not even going to be able to get some of these Calm Mind boosts up, and it probably dies to this Hidden Power. And that's the game. Yeah, great game from Baddummy. Brought his standard bread and butter. Stuff that he likes to bring. The Skarm Bliss with the Tar. And yeah, just played it really solidly and kind of ran into a matchup that I think he's pretty comfortable with. So really nice play from Baddummy. Nice try from Blyarg too. I don't think that Blyarg necessarily played wrong. Just some optimizations that could have been made to maybe make it a stronger game or a closer game, or maybe even just like some builder changes. So but interesting start from Blyarg. I think that they will probably be in next week and we'll get another shot at playing, and I look forward to seeing that. Alright, the final recording of week 8. I'm not gonna lie to you folks, you'll see when the video comes out. This is like I haven't recorded or released a video in like 3 weeks. To be completely honest with you, I was really tired, and the first few games that were like 200 turns really broke me, really took me out of it. But then I decided to come back to it, and we've got the guy, Conflict, subbing in for Violet River for the Cryos, or the Sharks. Sorry, wrong team. And then we got Arctic for the Bigs. Conflict is somebody who is incredibly good at GSC and dabbles in ADV, does pretty well. So I'm pretty excited to see him on here and round out our Week 8 coverage. Let's hop into it. We've got Hariyama versus Fortress. This is okay, yeah. Sableye. All right, this is gonna be a 180 turn game, 100 and whatever turn game. Knockoff into Rock Slide. My man Sableye gets recover. So this is weird. Arctic expected to switch maybe. A flinch here would be annoying. There it is. Second flinch. Nope. Here's the recover. And yeah, I don't know. If Rock Slide is the only way that we're getting through the Sableye, I don't think we're getting through the Sableye with Hariyama. Here's Blissey. Not a Pokemon that really wants to lose its leftovers. Ice Beam does 40%, so it's a very bold Sableye. Luckily no sand, so the lack of leftovers on Blissey is not a big deal. We are going to see Magneton come in. Interesting. Arctic playing really safe around the Fortress, trying to keep it alive, trying to keep it healthy. That is a Donphan. That is the Irrelevant back in the house. So it's funny, Conflict is loaded like a BKC ABR type build with the fucking Hariyama and the Mence. Mence didn't take any damage, so we don't know if it's CB or not yet. Probably not back CB. Yeah, no, spikeless build. And I really don't like these Hariyama builds, but you know, they work. Don't get me wrong. And Arctic has loaded ABR crack, so yeah. Week 8, ABR finally turned on the ABR finally turned on the let's load my crack button, and Arctic is yeah. Here's Roar, Vaporeon, hard countering Suicune. Unless it is also Roar. But there is a Raikou, so we'll see how that goes. Is Raikou gonna muscle its way through Blissey here? Let's find out. Para or something along those lines would be devastating, but it does not come. Here's Magneton coming in. It probably doesn't kill, yeah? Okay, just second spike. Alright. The Fortress is gone. The spikes are up. There is no spinner. Interesting. Arctic scouts the hidden power, or not hidden power, the Thunder Wave, and Donphan clicks hidden power, most likely Rock, gets the Salamence for 26%. That did nothing really. And we're gonna do a little bit of switching. Big freeze on Metagross. That was the best way that Conflict had to pressure this Blissey, and now Arctic's gonna get a few free turns to heal up Bliss, switch to Donphan, get a nice position here. Probably clicks hidden power Rock again. No, just goes for the Earthquake. And here's Vaporeon. Vaporeon looks incredibly strong here. It's walling the Mence, it's walling the Suicune. And I mean, Blissey is not something that Arctic is really worried about. Wish Pass to the Raikou is massive. And the Wish Pass to the Hariyama is nice too, so hidden power, most likely Ghost, is not going to break through this bold Sableye anytime soon. No leftovers on Hariyama since they were knocked off earlier. Is also quite nice for the Sableye. And the only way it really loses to Hariyama here is a bunch of these. Did the Hariyama reveal its whole set yet? No. Focus Punch, Rock Slide, Hidden Power. Has run into the worst possible matchup for a Hariyama without knockoff, even though that's generally a pretty good set. Raikou's setting up here, but I don't actually see it breaking Bliss, really. Like, Blissey just heals without like a full para, something like that. Or a crit. Big crit would end the game. Ooh, rest. Rest Raiku's interesting. So the problem here is that Hidden Power Flying is not doing enough damage for this interaction. But he does know that it doesn't have a move that actually messes with him. Okay, yeah. Big crit. Vaporeon's going to go down to 11. Be forced out here by Hariyama. Nope. First protect, that makes sense. And here comes the Sableye back in. Brick Break trying to call out a hero stay. Blissy's going to get some of its health back here. Did I forget, did this Blissey have Wish? Oh, it has Aromatherapy, so it will remove the rest sleep from Raikou. And unfortunately, Metagross is just staying frozen solid. Oh, here's the Wake, or the Thaw, rather. Big Toxic on Blissey. But this might be a bad matchup for Toxic Metagross, because Aromatherapy Blissey is quite annoying. And it's possible that the Donphan has Rest. So, nice double from Conflict to catch the Blissey. Here's the Donphan. Missed Meteor Mash. Metagross also looks incredibly threatening into Arctic's team. So I don't really agree with sacking off health on it here. You're not really... Oh, no. Alright, down Metagross goes. I guess if the first mash hadn't missed, this would be kind of a good trade. Instead, trading the only real Blissey pressure for a Donphan. Yeah, Magneton is going to come in on Blissey and click Thunder Wave. Hariyama's going to come in, and, you know, here's Sableye, and no knockoff means that you're doing less than 20% with each attack, and yeah, not a great position for Conflict, despite being up in Pokemon. This Rest Raikou is also incredibly threatening, I think. I will say that Conflict is only a DD-Ments flinch away or something along those lines from taking this. Yeah, Rest into Aromatherapy, and Raikou is back in. Big Wish onto the Magneton. And yeah, Blissey's gonna come back in. This is gonna be another 60 turns. Hariyama's gonna come in for that Big Wish. The one thing about Arctic's team being, you know, quote unquote do nothing, is that it does let Conflict also get wishes and heal his team up. If the Suicune on Conflict's side is Roar, it is massive. Extremely so. Because if it ever gets set up, it will roar Jolteon before Jolteon can roar it. The only real limiting factor is Raikou just coming in. And Raikou is staying very healthy with the rest, so... Jolteon is slowly recovering from its poor experience with the DD-Ments. Yeah, unfortunately, Recover has 32 PP, so like, this is incredibly futile. You're using up all your PP for nothing. Just, if you're gonna switch anyways, which you are, just switch, dog. 5 Rock Slides left. You can't even make it through Sableye in time. Yeah. Not even if all 5 Rock Slides flinched, I don't think it would kill. I guess all 5 Rock Slides flinching would be fine, but Here is the Raikou again. Yeah, no, it just seems very strong, this Raikou. It's always going to pressure Blissey, especially with no leftovers on Blissey. Any crit kind of wins, and it can always click Rest into Switch to Blissey into click Aromatherapy. Aromatherapy's down to 5, so that might be the only limiting factor there. That was a nice Hariyama switch from Conflict, trying to catch the Bliss, which he did. Alright, here's 2 flinches. 3 more. Okay. The last one needs to flinch on this one. This needs to be the flinch. Alright, nah, it's over. Well, the Hariyama ever actually threatening the Sableye is over, so. Here's the Hariyama gonna come back in on Blissey. You're not actually gaining any progress, though. Hike up last move on Sableye. Interesting. So Hariyama is now a Spike Sack. But if you were trying to pressure Blissey specifically with Hariyama, you needed to have spikes. So not having spikes kind of yeah. Vaporeon's gonna take this Rock Slide. This is the last ditch effort from Conflict. Salamence is the last Pokemon that will be able to do anything here. Arctic switch Blissey out and let Vaporeon go specifically to have less of a chance of getting hacked. Full Para plus Rock Slide Flinch would have been devastating. Conflict can't stay in with those odds, and we've got the Raikou show again. Except this time Blissey is not doing that much damage. I mean, pressure stall from Raikou is very real now. Big Wish. Soft Boils might be running out. I feel like they've mostly been used on Raikou. Same with the Ice Beams. So, like, Raikou might just run away with this now. This might be the end here. Blissey's gonna have a lot of soft boileds, but if you're just clicking soft boiled over and over again, you don't beat the Thunderbolts. And eventually there will be a crit or a para, and that'll be that. Yeah, no, I think I'm watching the death knell in real time. Conflict is gaining maybe 5% or less every single soft-boiled. At some point, Arctic is going to click Calm Mind again and can probably take us out of soft-boiled range, but does it really matter? Because a crit or anything like that will just end the game anyways. Soft boils are empty, and yeah, the game should end in 2-3 turns. Hidden Power Ice on Raikou anyways. Some very futile switching from Conflict. Don't think this Mence is surviving a Hidden Power Ice no matter what. So, yeah, down it goes, and that is the game. As always, thank you everybody for watching videos on my channel. I'm sorry I'm not putting them out very often. I'm going to finish SPL coverage. It's going to happen. Don't worry about it. I have a few special things planned. I will get it done. We will start covering some ADV PL stuff. I know that ADV PL is kind of in the middle of stuff, so there's a lot of content to cover there. And I'll start thinking of other stuff that I want to do. I've been doing a lot of stuff recently. I've been prepping for Smogon Grand Slam, which is like Scarlet Violet low tiers, which I know that the ADV audience probably won't enjoy that, so I won't really cover that, but if I do a deep run, I'll cover that a little bit. Been playing a lot of ADV draft. That's really been my main format, so I might start talking about some ADV draft stuff. Shout out to like LRXC and some of the other players that have been doing a lot of draft content. That community is always fun as hell. But yeah, I really want to get back into it, really want to post on my channel again, so expect some things from me. Sorry I've been taking such a long break, and I love you all. This has been Gold Mason, covering SPL commentated sets for ADV, and I will see you guys next time.